Yep, this is Spectrum Voices Conversation. Here, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. UK time, and 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. So what we're looking at now is the Facebook post that I share from the Autistic Radio Facebook page, and the reason behind that is just sharing information from people, organisations, groups from all over the autistic network, so to speak, online, just sharing information and generating discussion points, because we're not going to agree with everything, and some things just come out that just create an idea as well. So the first thing, I just posted this today, it's just a announcement from Brightfire, the Community Inclusion Company. Is that what that is? CIC?
Community Interest Company.
Right.
It's a bit like a charity. It's a non-profit.
Yeah, I thought that. I just want to make sure I'm being right, so that's why I said it wrong. But I've been corrected, so Brightfire Community Interest Company. That's fine. And what they've put up is the new Brightfire therapy space is coming together, with availability from September for new counselling or art psychotherapy clients in Hereford in England or online. We provide mental health support for autistic and or ADHD clients 16 and above who are looking for a therapist who understands neurodivergence. This is a private service. However, we offer a free 30-minute introductory consultation, and the information, all that, for contact details available here. You can email at brightfireCIC.com if you'd like to book an introductory session.
Well, we spoke to them and we had a podcast with them about the benefits of nature and art as a therapy with autistic people. And I came out feeling very positive about them. Yeah, they seem to be really building something here, and yeah, looks interesting.
What I like about it is they're looking at something, they're taking autism, not just autism, but we've talked about autism, it's like taking it forward in a positive manner. Like, you got things, we're taking this and we're going to try and sort it out for you. This is more like taking steps forward with you, not dragging you forward, if you know what I mean. So that's good. I was looking for something else on YouTube, but I found this instead. It's a video from 3 years ago that I posted. It's David Byrne, the ex-frontman of the band Talking Heads. Right. David Byrne, ex-frontman of Talking Heads, talks about his experiences with being on the autistic spectrum. He discusses how it makes him be able to hyper-focus on certain things and how he views other people. He also discusses how he has grown as a person over the years and become more comfortable with himself.
Wow.
So it's that sort of thing that, see if it's someone famous, like a musician or actor, it doesn't need to be that, it's like somebody you can identify with or somebody you like or somebody you know is successful, in terms of being successful in society. It gives a positive example.
Positive role models, eh?
A positive role model, basically. So that's why I shared that.
It's interesting how many alternative musicians, if you know what I mean, people who use their art and look at things in an alternative way or are groundbreaking in different ways, have discovered or adopted their autistic selves. It's almost as though autism, with its specialisms and its hyper focus, as he says, has an advantage in some fields, but they're fields where so many people sink. It's it's audition after audition and no after no after no, and then very few people actually get through it to make a success. But some of the huge ones, you know, some of the people who really are big in their fields are autistic.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the one I was actually looking for, because I read it somewhere, was Diane Warren, the songwriter.
Okay.
You know, all these power ballads that we all know. Well, if you kind of say the names of them, you know, like for Meatloaf and Cher, like for everybody basically, it seems. And she kind of disclosed in the last year or so that she's autistic. So I was just looking for that, but I found something else, and I thought that's quite good. That, you know, it's something to add to, you know, it's something different to add to the page as well. Positive role model doesn't have to be talking about therapies and kind of hard luck stories. It's talking about positive stuff as well, which we're looking to do, and inspirational quotes. The next one is from The Joy of Autism, and it's just a meme or an inspirational quote. Love them for who they are, never judge them for what they're not. This may be relating to children, or this may be relating just to people in general. Dogs for Autism. And a couple of days ago, well, I shared it yesterday, but a couple of days ago, it was Assistance Dog Day. Let's celebrate. We're proud to showcase the skills and dedication our dogs achieve. It's given an example of one. It's saying that having Coco at school means Peter can attend lessons without the anxiety he used to feel. Coco helps Peter in lessons. She will sit at his side or under his desk. If she feels Peter is feeling anxious, she will alert his teacher. Coco has been trained to help Peter to remember all the items he needs for school each day. Autumn assistance dogs help change lives. Autistic people with autism, can identify or have a close relationship with animals. Not just cats and dogs, but, you know, a lot of different animals.
Yeah.
I kind of like hearing stories like that as well.
I've got a friend has an autistic son, and during his teenage years, he looked after a snake. And it often seems to be the people who look after quite unusual animals that tend to be autistic. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone. I mean, I know that when I was at Autscape, a lot of people were talking about their relationships with their cats, and some people said that cats seem to be more of an autistic animal than dogs, and I didn't get that really.
I've heard that a few times. Like cats are autistic coded. Like they will, they might like affection, but it's on their terms, and they don't need a lot of fuss. But when they want it, they'll come and find it out. And when they've had enough, they will leave. But like Murray from the Insider Autistic Minds thing, he got a lot out of looking after those horses and like connecting with the horses. I think with animals, because the communication is generally non-verbal, apart from like sit, stay, stop eating my hair. You don't have to mask around animals, and they will accept you or not, you know, for who you are. And there isn't anything that you can, like, you can't mask around animals. They can tell how you're feeling, even if you can't. I think that's one of the reasons that like support dogs are really good, because dogs are quite good. I mean, I'm sure many other animals are, but in a legit, you know, practical sense, dogs are portable and they can do stuff practically to help. But I think they're quite good at picking up on people's emotions and, you know, checking the signs, learning the signs of when somebody is about to experience an episode. I know people who've got support dogs for diabetes because the dog could smell the blood sugar dropping. So I think they've got the ability to sense things about us that we don't know about, and then they can act on those things. So they can, like a lot of people who have autism support dogs, their dog will sense that they're about to shut down or about to melt down, and they will come and lie on their lap or gently push them to the floor and lie on top of them and give them that deep pressure, that calming pressure that really helps.
Yeah, like a weighted blanket, but a furry, smelly one.
Yeah. Hopefully not too smelly. I don't know. I suppose autistic support dogs have to be okay with being shampooed occasionally if they're going to be.
No sensory issue there, yeah. But I'm quite puzzled by the personal in each case cues that a dog's got to get used to help with preparing in the morning. We're just starting putting that together. It's a very simple list. And how well prepared a morning is it?
Dogs are very, very intelligent. I mean, not all of them, but the ones that, there are dogs that are bred for being guide dogs, and not all of them have the abilities to be an effective guide dog, but they can learn a routine and they can learn items, and you can get dogs for for physical disabilities that will do the washing. They're able to load the washing machine.
Yeah.
They might not be able to unscrew the cap of the detergent, but they can turn the washing machine on. They can unload the washing machine, and they can carry the washing out to the garden.
Yeah.
Or to put it somewhere. They can't hang it up straight. They're dogs.
No.
But they can be taught to do a lot of very complex things, like even opening the fridge and getting a bottle of water and bringing it to somebody. So they are they can be very well adaptable to certain sort of tasks and functions.
I think there can also be dogs that go and collect medicine, like a hypo or something, when somebody needs it, and bring it to them.
It's good to post it again, considering the subject. It's from the Grampian Women's Aid in Scotland, and it's basically highlighting the issue, or just basically saying that, did you know autistic women are more likely to experience domestic abuse than their non-disabled peers? So it's basically saying there's many people that autistic women experience domestic abuse a lot more than non-autistic women. If you believe you're experiencing this, they've got obviously the contact details available, and obviously their advice is confidential, free, and non-judgmental. I just thought I'd put it up again. It's just these things. It's somebody could just read their page and then just see that, and that just kind of connects someone to something. And if it's not suitable, it's not in their area, they'll find one that is, because they realise, is that actually something that's been looked at, something that's been touched upon, something that's been recognised. So that's why I shared it.
I think it's important to stress to anybody who might be listening that there's often the impression given that there's no help, and it is possible to find help. Wherever you are in the world, it's worth looking and seeing if you can escape enough time to do some internet research and see if you can find another person that will lead you towards help. Don't work from the position that it's hopeless. Always feel that it's worth trying to get an opportunity. Look for an opportunity. Don't give up. Try and find someone who will help.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Absolutely. And we'll provide as much information, or I'll provide as much information as possible, and there'll be other information out there to help. There's always things out there. Totally agree, Julian. The next one, ICANN Network Limited. And it's basically saying about autistic special interests. And I like this one. Autistic special interests are like oxygen. They are necessary for many of us to function in this world, almost like an inbuilt coping strategy our brains have created for us. We need them to survive.
ICANN is interesting, isn't it? It's Australian, and it's 50% organised with autistic employees. So it's much easier to trust the posts and the things that they put out.
Yeah. And always hits Well, it certainly hits me. It's like, oh, yeah, you're right. I like that. And it's simple things that are said as well. It's the thing that it hits you best and things that attract people more is the simple messages, the simple words even, rather than, even though I share them sometimes because they're quite interesting, is like there's sometimes complicated graphics, about the brain, about behaviours, and it can be a wee bit overwhelming, but things like this, it just kind of keeps it relatively simple, and it kind of helps out. It kind of gives you a sort of, oh, yep, I know what you're talking about. It's like, oh, I know it. I feel like that too, and that's that sort of thing. Like you feel, all right, so people do know what it's about, having autism.
Justin has pointed out that Canadian actor Dan Aykroyd is autistic as well. When we were going back to the actors and people.
Yes, so that.
Daryl Hannah, and who was the guy that played Hannibal Lecter?
Now he has gone back on it.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Yes. I think he received a little bit of negativity around it. He's Welsh, isn't he? What's his name?
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins, yeah. He's absolutely autistic. He's kind of slid back a little on that. But then he is an old fella, and I doubt if he's got time to sort of get a feeling of positivity around autism. So I can understand why he might wish to do that.
This is why we need to change society.
Yeah.
So that people can come out and then not go, oh, right, no, I retract.
All right, yeah, all right, I better go back in again.
I was just doing a bit of carrot method acting. Yeah, you've been method acting as autistic your whole life, because you are.
Yeah. Well, the thing about acting often is that it's sort of like an additional part of masking, isn't it? Masking is acting, isn't it?
Yeah. And we're doing it a long time. You hear about actors going, oh, grueling 12-hour day doing a shoot, and you're like, 12 hours, try 24, minus sleep. And that's non-stop. And we don't get paid $1 million for every feature film we make. We're doing this for free.
Justin's put up Daryl Hannah. Are you going to give us a list of other ones, Justin? Because you're the movie guy, aren't you? I'll throw in Einstein and...
Oh, Einstein was never diagnosed nor assessed. So
no.
For historical figures, it can be a bit of a grey area. Oh. He's also a physicist, which is basically that's 2 ticks before you've even opened the diagnostic sheet.
Give me Einstein.
Sorry, you can have it.
Isaac Newton. Yeah, whenever I say Einstein, I'm sure you'll come up with Newton as well.
I mean, I went to Isaac Newton's birthplace on the way up to deliver some neurodiversity training, and there were little quotes that people had said about him scattered around the place, and I was like, yeah, definitely autistic. People were saying all he does is study. There's nothing else he would like to do with his time. If he's not sleeping or eating, he's thinking. Yeah, okay, he was autistic. His house is in the middle of nowhere. Definitely autistic. Yeah, no, I retract my earlier statement about not diagnosing historical figures, because if we can get Newton, I think that's pretty cool.
What about George Orwell? He's definitely autistic.
Yeah. Oh, I
used to read everything of his.
That definitely fits. I mean, the dedication to go and do all the stuff he did to write Down and Out in Paris and London. So many neurotypicals would have just gone, do you know what? I'm uncomfortable and bored. I'm going home. How many people join a foreign war just to write a book?
Homage to Catalonia.
Yeah.
Or go and...
Those are quite socially outgoing, daring, confident things to do, though.
But you can be autistic and be socially competent and outgoing and a bit daring. There are lots of autistic people who are like that.
You've got to remember he was also privileged, Maurice, and at his time, his elevation of class gave him an awful lot of confidence over other people.
quite.
Social advantage.
Don't know your social advantage.
Yes, he was in the brigade, yes. And he did put his life at danger voluntarily. But you could also, it was part of his journalistic and scholarly interest that put him there. Previously, he was a policeman in Burma. Was it India or Burma? He wrote Burmese Days. He was part of the Indian police force in Burma.
I learned what he was doing from it. To change this view.
I think an awful lot of autistic people also like to join organisations. My father was in the forces because it had a structure of meritocracy about it. He could gradually work his way up the ranks to get to the top of the non-commissioned officers, but he could never get, as an autistic man, he would never really be able to go straight in as an officer.
I've got something to say about the autistic special interests, like Oxygen Post, which is just, I was delivering some training this week, and we do, in the session I was doing, we do a thing where people come up with their preconceptions about various conditions. And one thing that always comes up with autism is obsessions and special interests. And I was explaining that they are, spending time on our special interests is like a deep brain massage. It's like if you have a sports injury and then you go and get a sports massage or physio and ice therapy or whatever it happens to be that really works and really like just alleviates all of the problem you were carrying before. It's like a deep brain massage for us. It's really calming and grounding. We do need them to survive. Without them, we have no way of relaxing our incredibly busy brains.
Okay. And if you go to the monotropism questionnaire, one of the questions is, involvement in an activity of interest often reduces my anxiety level.
All right. What's Justin asking? He's asking, what did you say? Who did say that word? I can't even pronounce it. Meritocracy?
Meritocracy.
Right.
It means a structure in which positive attributes or success are deemed as things that get you to the top.
It's fairness. It's something that where you get status or advancement based on your merit rather than maybe things like class, gender, race. Somewhere where if you do a good job, you do well, which is not really what tends to happen in most societal structures.
The next one is from Joe James, the autistic photographer, who I share every now and again. And it's a picture of it's like an optical illusion. If you look at it one way, it looks like a hole in a hayfield. And another way, if you look at it again, it looks like a hay bale. So basically, he shared the picture. He's saying it's like autism is about perspective. Society sees a hole where in fact there's a hay bale. And he says the issue with how we are treated is all because people don't get to know us as individuals and assume that they know about autism matches every autistic person. I can't believe how common that is. Maybe because I'm autistic, but it's just it's just people, if they think they know about autism, about everybody, not everybody, but a good section of people, because they've known one autistic person without realising everybody's different. So it's that same thing. We've kind of discussed it before, haven't we? The stereotypes and things.
You make good points, and your stereotype thing with you on that in that hat has been very successful on Facebook.
Yes, but I chose a better picture.
Well done. For be willing to do.
Well, I'm already out there anyway. I might as well have a bit of fun. So I've just got that picture in my head Obviously, I'm not looking at it right now, but I might as well be. But anyway, it's good to be a bit of fun and amazing. And obviously, a serious point. The next one, actually, I find interesting because I'm actually going to go to this. It's about the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Oh, great.
Fringe.
Yeah, I'm going there. Yeah.
This is from the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, the kind of official sort of page. And it says, the Fringe can be an overwhelming place. Our extremely popular 23, with a wide range of sensory tools available. Customers can pick up a bag plus the items they want to use from the Fringe box office throughout the festival. Bags can also be ordered in advance with specific items required. All items can be kept with the exception of the ear defenders. The free sensory backpacks contain tools to make the festival environment more welcoming for those who might find it overwhelming. And there's a link to it all.
I think one of the points of going to the festival is to be overwhelmed by things, but then definitely you do need respite from it. There are, just off the main roads in Edinburgh, there are lots of little gardens and little quiet places. Particularly if you go along the road that goes south from the bridges, North and South Bridge, and you're out in the venues along on the south side, just going behind the road, you will often come to little courtyards that part of the university where you can sit and get away from the sun, get away from the rain, and just be on a bench away from people for a while before you go back and join in again.
Yeah. What I tend to do is that there was one, it does get a bit overwhelming, is I go in somewhere like a pub or a cafe, which obviously they're not going to be dead quiet. They're not going to be, because it's there's people, there's going to be a lot of people there, but find a little corner and then put yourself back to the wall so you kind of, and then the noise, it may still be a bit noisy, but the noise goes down a little bit because you're not outside listening to lots and lots of people. It's less. So that's what I tend to do. But it can be overwhelming as well. But it's good that I'm actually quite happy that actually happened. That's provided. It can be, it's not like, oh, just go on with it, suffer.
Having said that, you can go to some of the free fringe festival areas where there's only you in the audience anyway.
Well, that's true. I mean, the last one I went to, it was last year. It's comedians we usually go and see.
Yeah.
And I'm going like, you don't realise what you're getting into. You go into this, and then you walk in, it's like a row of seats, there's about 10 people.
Yeah, exactly. It can be the place to go. Yeah,
it's happened a few times. I find it quite, because it always surprises you. Like, can it be like the same as last time? Yes, it is. You're going to the guy's first show or something, but that's good. Don't get me wrong. When I see that, it actually relaxes me. Oh, actually, put my feet up here. But anyway, but it's I do like the Fringe. I do like going to Edinburgh. Next one, from Autistic Revolution. Top tips from autistic folk. If you want to learn about actual autistic lived experience, please know you have a choice of where you receive your training or information. All right, it's saying there's certain words and training information that might use certain language, like social skills and socializing difficulties, communication problems, behavior issues or problems, interventions, behavioral strategies, rewards, compliance, coping skills, and resilience.
I think actually it's an important list. Avoid people that describe our autistic experience of ASD or autism spectrum disorder.
Yeah.
Because we're not disordered. Avoid people who call it a mental health condition or a mental health disorder. And if they're more likely to call it a neurological difference. Now, It seems to me, though, that some of the worst people out there have quickly latched on to the kind of language and just changed all their language without changing any of their attitudes. So even though this is a kind of pointer in the right direction, you do have to be extremely careful if you're a parent of an autistic child, or if you're an autistic person that's realized and looking for somebody outside to help you. But they do give a good list of people who they have found that they trust. So, I just want to say that I feel that there's a neurodivergence washing going on, that a lot of bad actors in autism world, because we are being used as a group in an industry. Autism is an industry. Treating children is an industry. Yeah. Education is an industry. Therapy is an industry. And just because they don't use these words, you still have to be skeptical.
Yeah, but I can understand though. I mean, the way things are, it's all about money in a way. It's big business in many ways as well. It's like knowing who to trust and being kind of not defensive, but just try to be careful that you're not misinformed, because it's very easy to be misinformed in in anything, not just autism. So you've got to be careful.
Should I give you a break and read the next one? Diego Vargas fell in love with music when he was in 6th grade. That's when he began playing the saxophone. He later got involved in his school theatre group and joined the high school band, and now he's also a DJ and an audio engineer, coordinating the sound at New Life Baptist Church on Sundays and making musical mixes for people to dance and party to at various events on the other days of the week. It's his ways of connecting people. So sounds all normal and everything, and then they introduce to say that Diego, who is on the autism spectrum, attends California's Fresno City College. He says his autism has caused him to struggle with subpar cognitive skills, difficulty problem solving, and trouble with social interaction. But his DJing and music production have opened up a new avenue for communicating with others in a low pressure way. So, it's an improvement on some of the patronizing crap that you get from general charity, but it's from a charity called Autism Awareness that has a puzzle symbol as their part of their logo, with a large puzzle being the parent and then a small puzzle piece being clicked into being looked after by the parent. So
yeah, it's a certain perspective.
Yeah. So what we get, it's a positive story, but it's put out in a way by a certain organization that's another one of those old-fashioned organizations that has now changed the way it communicates slightly, but it's still got the same attitudes. The interesting part of there is it's he's getting his opportunities through the New Life Baptist Church in America. And often it is these church groups that give the opportunity for autistic people to express themselves. But I always worry and wonder about what else comes with it,
Yeah, there's always something that I can understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
The next one is just the podcast we visit that I do once every week.
Yep.
And it's basically go back to the podcast we done on the 8th of January.
I'll just have a quick look at the figures.
Yep. And it's
being downloaded again because you've put it up there. Yep.
And basically we're talking about autism and obviously the disability tag which is put on autism. And is autism an automatic disability? Is it simply a difference in how the brain functions? How many autistic people identify as this as a spectrum itself, because many will identify through the disability and many will just say, no, it's just the way my brain functions. So there's a discussion on that, as we know. And I do recall I listened to a bit of it again, and I quite enjoyed re-listening, and it was quite a good discussion. And it's good that reposting that the older podcast is getting 1 or 2 new more listens. That's what it's all about. I do like putting pictures of myself on this. It's nice to show that there's someone there. It's not just an organisation. There's people behind it. So
Yeah.
and I don't want
You're right to do it.
Yeah.
Also, you're not one of these pictures that has been put up by a charity that makes you look a bit weird. You know, you're a guy just taking a selfie of himself, and it comes out as a normal looking guy. You know, and I think that's a very positive thing to do.
Yep, absolutely, and that's what I try to do. And thank you for your support. That's what it says on here as well. And what I called it was the joy of sharing, because that's exactly talk about autistic joy earlier on. It's about the joy of sharing information, even though some information may not be to. We're not going to give you everything, but it's good getting it out there so people can see it. And it's all different perspectives, all different experiences. So basically what I said in this is thank you all for your support. It is a joy to share so much information from so many people in the autistic community. There is so much to learn and so much to share. Part of a discussion on the live broadcast on Sundays is discussing some of the posts, some which are inspirational and others quite hard-hitting, and all positively effective. Sharing posts is also a pathway to future podcasts where we have a guest and ask questions on a particular topic. We have connected with so many people, and this has helped Autistic Radio evolve. Thanks from all the team. So
really well written. Really well written.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm on with you on that. I think that really is part of this.
It's good to remind ourselves, or to remind myself, doing it, doing all these posts and then just putting that on, just a sort of break, just to show we're doing this for a reason. Even though it's quite obvious what we're doing, but it's good to tell them.
Giving back to the folks who've reacted.
Yep, absolutely. The next one shared, it's a video, and it's like many autistic people have difficulty accessing services like GPs, etc. And in this particular video, from what I've kind of seen from it, from what I've heard from it, it's like people with autism have to work twice as hard to access service. I don't know if people in here can identify with that. I don't myself, but it's only because I've been the same one since I was a child.
I think however vocal you are, however bright you appear, and however non-autistic you appear when you go to the doctor's surgery, you're not quite treated the same, because it's a social construct. Going along and asking for help about whatever it is you're going to the doctor for is a very weird, stressful thing to be doing. I remember not recently, because I don't go to the doctor very often, but one of my last experiences of going to the doctor, I saw a guy and he said he felt as though I was taking the consultation and not him, because I had gone with all of the information at my fingertips to hand over to him for him to then deal with. And I had, I behaved myself, but when I came away, I thought, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with me not just going in there being a victim, but saying, I've got this, this, and this. What do you think about it? Does this mean anything?
I think the issue is that doctors have done a hell of a long time of study and research, and when they get because it happens a lot more now
Mm.
because there's the internet and you can.
Oh, I see.
You can,
Yep.
Yeah, they're handed over a whole sheaf of stuff that it's like, yeah, I did this 8 years ago. This is something I know about. And I think there's not all patients are wrong about stuff, but I think they probably get a lot of people who are like, I think I have this, 1 in a million rare thing. And it's like, that's eczema.
No.
So
Sorry.
I've not.
I don't think I don't think I've communicated properly. I didn't go in with Dr. Google says this. I have this. I went in. It was just the way I approached describing my symptoms, or it wasn't telling anybody their job. It was just the way I was as a social being didn't fit the role I was supposed to, these are my symptoms, help, It wasn't about, I don't know. It just looked, I don't know. I think it's very difficult for us to act in the right way.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
And I think the fact that probably 90% of patients now go in with this, I think I've got this. I think doctors have an almost Pavlovian response now to a certain dynamic.
So they're expecting that.
And they're sort of expecting you to be, I've lost the word, but yeah, I think you have to put the right persona on so that you can be confident about it, but you do have to play you do have to play that role a little bit. And it's really frustrating to have to do that.
I haven't managed. I haven't managed, even if I'm not going in there being a smart ass, I don't know how to get them to communicate with me well.
No, I don't know either. Whenever medical people ask me questions, I think from now on, I'm going to say, is it okay if I answer non-verbally? Because something about the way I answer questions seems to really piss them off.
Yeah. I can piss people off.
Yeah.
Anyway. So all the way through this, whether you're talking about people who have learning difficulties or, really present as odd, to people who in other parts of their lives manage everything really quite well, going to the doctors is difficult.
It happens with people with chronic illnesses as well. Once you've got a chronic illness, it doesn't, your leg could be hanging off. Well, it's because you've got lupus or fibromyalgia or whatever. When you have a chronic illness or you've got certain diagnoses on your file, you have to work so much harder. I used to tutor a course for people with long-term conditions, and managing medical appointments was one of the sessions that always massively overran because everyone was like, how do I get my doctor to take me seriously? I have this issue and it's not related. I know it's not related to my other symptoms. I've been tracking it, One tip somebody said was to say, I have a new symptom. I don't know if that works. It's just that came to me. But it's a massive problem for anyone with, certain diagnoses. So any kind of like cognitive or neurodevelopmental condition and chronic illnesses as well. You are instantly fighting this battle with both hands behind your back, and you're not allowed to untie them. And they'll even tell you that you've got both hands free. It's completely skewed. Yeah.
And luckily I've very seldom had anything, except a few little minor surgeries and things. I'm not ill. I'm a really fit, active person, and I don't manage to do it. How other people manage to do it,
Yeah, I have to make an appointment soon about a quote unquote new symptom that I think points to misdiagnosis a few years ago.
Oh God. That's gonna be a difficult one.
Yeah. Luckily there's one GP at my surgery who's very good and very understanding. And she has let me lead on stuff before. So I'm gonna try and make an appointment with that one. And I still have to make sure I'm playing the right persona a little bit. But she's receptive to that. Yeah.
Just insane. We get misunderstood and misinterpreted by neurotypical people all the time, including doctors.
I think that's what you're meaning, Yeah, I think that's right, Justin. You know, and there are certain times when you're at the doctor's when you really don't want that to be happening to you. You know?
Yeah, I can totally understand about the doctor thing.
But then we've also got this thing where so many doctors are autistic themselves, and they feel unable to express their autism to each other. They're hiding it from each other. You know, the autistic doctors group is an eye opener. You know.
Yeah, that's forgotten, actually. Well, not forgotten, it's not thought about. I mean, you say an autistic doctor, I'm going, oh, aye, right, okay. You forget that. Not that doctors aren't people, but you forget that, the autist, the identity thing and stuff like that, and how their brains may work. But, yeah.
I see what Justin says here. He says, not being believed a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're misreading, and they're misreading us, he says.
So did this might.
And then then Justin has decided to spell resilience correctly. I don't know what you're referring to when you said extraordinary people, mate, because I was on a different page looking at the Facebook, so I'm sorry I missed where that fitted into our conversation.
I enjoyed the discussion tonight. And that's what it's all about. So thanks everybody for being involved in the discussion. Thanks to people for listening. And this is a Spectrum Voices conversation here every Sunday, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. UK time, and 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week, and look forward to it. Thank you.